Hello everyone, my name is Amrish Yadav, and today I'm going to talk about my experience of UPSC Civil Services 2024 personality test. So basically, my interview held on 27th of January, which was just one day after the 26th of January Republic Day. So, so, so basically, it was 76th Republic Day of India, and I was basically I was thinking that questions might come from the Republic Day celebrations. However, that did not happen in my real interview. I will share my experience of interview, like uh, as the process went by, and the step by step process I will tell you. So, first of all, let me see if I am audible to you guys or not. So, maybe. सो अगर मैं अपने इंटरव्यू की बात करूं तो मेरा इंटरव्यू 27th of January को था और बेसिकली आफ्टरनून it was on the afternoon session 1 p.m. So I have to report like on 1 p.m. So I entered the UPSC Bhavan at sharp 1 p.m. and we there were 60 people. All of those went to the central hall. So in after going to central hall, the UPSC staff was there who basically did verification of our documents, and there were three kinds of documents required. Basically, the 10th class certificate to verify the name and the date of birth, and the graduation certificate for your like to know about the completion of your graduation or not. It so degree or the mark sheet both are eligible, both were allowed. And the third document in my case was the category certificate, that is the OBC certificate, and nothing else was required. So basically some kind of forms were there, some declaration, and one form was to, so a lot of details I we need to fulfill, and so this process took almost like 30 minutes. So within 30 minutes all of the document got verified, and the forms were filled, two photos were required, and we, we completed all the process, and then began the waiting period. So after 1:30, so we all were waiting. Somebody was reading the newspaper, someone was taking snacks such as uh, taking tea, or some muffins were there, some biscuits. So people were doing that. Lot of people were reading the newspaper of the day, because 27th of January is relevant with respect to the previous day's event, like 26th of January. So one of my my group mate, we were six people. So one of my group mate asked about the Republic Day theme, and what was the uh, tableaus or some new events some first timers. So these kind of discussions were happening. I was like all of them, similar to this was happening to me. I was little bit nervous. At the same time, I was making sure that I do not read something new from the newspaper, because that created a sense of anxiety and sense of lack of preparation, because there might be something in the newspaper which you have not heard about till the date of interview. So I thought that I will just look at the broader headings of the newspaper which I read, because they might ask which kind of what newspaper do you read, and can you tell us the headlines of the front page. So I was just thinking about that, like I should tell something about the newspaper which I read on a daily basis. It should not like I have not read the newspaper, or I should say something about some of the news which is there in the newspaper. So I read this much, and I have already read the newspaper, but at that time I was just confirming that at least two three news I will be able to tell. If not in detail, I would tell one or two line about the news if they will ask me on the newspaper aspect. Because reading the newspaper at that time was creating anxiety in my mind, and a lot of people were reading the different aspect and they were like gossiping. So I thought that I should not read. I put the newspaper aside, and I just sat and tried to meditate and calm myself. And I was not thinking too much at the time, because my turn was third and there were two people before me. So at two, the first people was called, and the first was a guy from Delhi. So he was called, and then we all got to know that it has been started, and uh, our turn will come one by one. So again, kind of nervousness started, and waiting period is definitely very difficult in the central hall. So some people started talking something random stuff to counter the anxiety, but I was of the thinking that I should not talk much. I just remain calm and try to compose myself and try to relax myself. I was taking some deep breath and trying to meditate, but obviously that does not help much. It's your, like, if you if you already prepared, and uh, if you are in a good state of mind, and if you're not thinking too much, that will help. So not thinking much is very helpful. Meditation and taking deep breaths also helps. So at that I was doing. After maybe 1 hour, the second member called. So second was the lady in our group. So after that, I was aware that the third number is mine. So I got ready with respect to the uh, checking my dress and going to washroom and all. So I do not want to be like last minute hush, last minute kind of anxiety in that situation. So I got prepared beforehand, and I was ready for my call. I sat there. I calm myself by doing meditation, and then taking deep breaths. And they called me around 3:10. So I went with the guy who called me, and they told me to sit outside the room and wait for your turn. Before calling me into the room, the board members were taking some break, some tea break, kind of. So, so it took around 10 to 15 minutes waiting outside the hall, outside the room of the chairman. So, my interview board, the chairman of my interview board was Dinesh Dasa sir. So around 3:30 or maybe 3:31 or 2, I'm not very much sure, because at that time I was not like there was no watch in my hand, because they do not allow to wear watch or any other electronic gadget. And as I entered the room, I also did not look at the watch because I was looking at the members. So when they call me, then you can enter. So I asked the chairman or the members to come in, and the chairman said that yes, you, you can come, and I greeted the chairman and the all the male members by saying that good afternoon sirs, and one lady member was there. I also greeted her by saying good afternoon ma'am, and they said that you can take your seat, and then I again thanked them all by saying thank you sir. So chairman sir asked me, Amrish, how you feeling? So I said I'm fine sir. And then he said, you have studied biotech from where? So I said sir, from IIT Guwahati. Then he asked, what do you study in biotech? And I listed 4 5 subjects. Before I, like while I was listing the subject, he asked me, he picked one of the subject like plant biotechnology, and he asked one question from the plant biotechnology, which is the uh, name the crops which has revolutionized the Indian agriculture, genetically modified crops. So I immediately recognized that the question is based on the GM crops. So I took a pause of maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then I replied that the crops such as BT cotton and BT brinjal or DMH11 Dhara mustard. So he countered me by saying that what about the banana? So I said that yes, banana is modified to incorporate the genes of vitamin A. So he said, what is the name? So I said, sorry sir, I'm not aware. Then he asked about the potato, which is used for making chips in Lay's. He was discussing with the members like, oh, what is the name of the company? So somebody said Pepsi, somebody said Lay's. So he said, oh, okay, tell me the name of that potato which is used to make the chips by these companies. So I said, sorry sir, I'm not aware. And then he shifted the topic from biotech to Indian Railways, because I'm working as a station master in Indian Railways. So he said that you are a station master working at, like, at which station, and where? So he said where? I said sir, Marga station in Ajay Nagar division, NER zone. Okay, so he said tell us some recent projects of Indian Railways. So I started talking about the dedicated freight corridor, which is being built from the eastern dedicated freight corridor from the Punjab to Calcutta, which is Ludhiana to Dunkini, and the western dedicated freight corridor from Dadri to Bombay and extended to JNPT. Eastern has completed, and western is still, some part of it is still in the construction phase. So before before uh, I tell the next current project, he asked me about the freight, the contribution of the freight trains on a normal tracks, not dedicated freight corridors. So I was not very certain about the percentage number of trains which are run over the normal tracks, such as the Delhi Howrah route or the Delhi Bombay route. So instead of guessing wildly, I said, sorry, sir. I can tell you the contribution of freight towards the revenue of railways. So he said that are available. That is not my concern. So I said, you can tell me the percentage of trains running on the tracks, normal track, the freight trains. I said, sorry, sir, I'm not aware. Then he asked me about what about the private trains run by the private entities on the normal Indian Railways infrastructure. So I said, yes, sir. These are already run by the private players. So he was mentioning that what about the trains of Adani, Ambani being run on the Indian Railways tracks or Indian Railways infrastructure? So I said these are already being run in terms of the freight. So he said, no, no, tell me about the passengers aspect. So I said, yes, sir, it should be allowed. That would increase the revenue of Indian Railways. And as of now, one train which is run by the IRCTC, one private train which is run by the IRCTC is running already. So which is called the Tejas Express. So he said, okay, fine, and he asked his first member to ask the questions. So basically, this was the interaction which happened with the chairman, sir. And there were two, three questions which I was not able to answer, and I said confidently that I am not aware about the things which he was asking. And I did not think much about these questions during the interview. Like, okay, if I do not know, then what can be done? Then the second member asked me on my optional subject. He said, Amrish, your optional is physics. I said, yes, sir. And then he said, physics is a very difficult subject. Why did you choose physics as your optional? So I said, sir, during my JEE preparation, physics was my favorite subject. That's why I decided to opt for the physics as an optional subject. So he said, but after 4 years graduation, we tend to forget things. So then why? I said, sir, I looked at the syllabus and the previous year questions, and I thought that I will be able to justice to the subject, and I will, it will be handled I will be able to handle the subject based on the previous year questions and the syllabus of the physics which is there in the UPSC. So he said, okay. Then he asked me about my hobby. So he said, you play bansuri. Which bansuri do you play? I said, sir, G bass bansuri, which is like horizontal one. I wanted to say the transverse, but it came out horizontal. So, but I did not like became the self conscious. I just went with the flow. And he said, "Do you play raga?" I said, "No, sir." So he said, "Why?" I said, "Sir, I play only the light music, Bollywood kind of light music, and for playing raga, it requires a lot of practice under the guidance of Guruji, and which is very difficult to do with the along with the preparation." So he said, "Okay." So he said, "Can you tell me, like, what how many types of bansuris are there in India. So I said that, sir, there are two kinds of bansuri, which is the Hindustani classical music bansuri and the Carnatic classical music kind of bansuri. I listed out the differences, and he said, the what about the foreign foreign bansuris? So I said, sir, basically they are the replica of the Indian bansuris. However, like they are similar to these bansuris, but there is a difference of material, such as the metallic bansuris are there, and the PVC's bansuris are there, and different aspects such as the instead of blowing hole or instead of finger holes, there are finger keys which are pressed to produce a different kind of sounds. So he said okay, and then he asked me about one question on railways again. He said that there is a very hype about Vande Bharat trains, and we see that Vande Bharat are running half empty. The seats are empty many a times, and there are sections of the society, as we are seeing in case of Mahakubh, that people are not getting seats and they are traveling in general classes, and there's no proper arrangement for them, and there's a hype about number of special trains running and all. So in your opinion, what is the problem, and why government is not focusing on that? So I said, sir, because because of the lack of capacity and the availability of the adequate infrastructure, we are not able to scale up number of trains. For example, we need to renew the tracks, and we need to build the uh, trains. However, we are doing it now, and we are manufacturing new trains. So he said, but the government is just focusing on the Vande Bharat and all. So I said, yes, sir. Uh, yes, because it tackles or it caters to the elite section of the society. However, government is also focusing on the Amrit Bharat train, which is of the general class and the sleeper. So for Amrit Bharat trains are for the middle class or lower middle class people, and government is planning to launch 200 Vande Bharat trains in near future. So in my opinion, sir, and also the government, the current capacity of Indian Railway is 700 crore, and in future, like 4 to 5 years till 2030, government is planning to enhance the capacity to 1000 crore passengers movement per year. So, and I added that, so these are the infrastructural and the capacity building program, and this program takes time. So in near future, we will be able to provide the adequate facilities to the all sections of the society, and I said, I believe in that, and it will happen. So he said okay, and then he passed to the next member. Next member was very he was a very like old fellow, and he did not ask me any question. He just mentioned like long context of the question. He mentioned about the 2018 Kerala flood, and he gave the incident that it was a very devastating flood and a lot of people suffered their life and the property, and there were only two kind of people who helped those affected peoples. First was the boat boatmen, and the second was the young people. So So I said, I nodded with the member. So he said, Amrish, tell can you tell us the reason behind these young people helping the affected people? Because we generally see that young people do not pay attention to the elderly people or the old age people because of the uh, new advent of new technologies and mobile and all. They are indulged in their self activities. They do not pay attention to the old age people, and we have seen these kind of behaviors at the railway station and metros and many places like in buses and all. So why do you can you guess why the young people were helping those affected peoples? So either I might not have understood the question, but as he said that can you guess, so I thought that so I said uh, yes, I can try. So he said, okay, tell me. So I said, sir, as far as my knowledge and my understanding is concerned, those who are who is having good moral system or the value system, those people will always help the elderly people. As in my case, as in my family, it is told that we should always respect the elders and try to help them as much as possible whenever they are in requirement. So if a person like me feel that a elderly person is in need, will always help. So in my opinion, that's a uh, it might be the possibility that the people who are helping them, those who are having the good value system. But he's countered some little bit disagreement that okay, but we are not seeing that happening, and people are not helping the people in older people in general. And he said, okay. And sir, I said, thank you, because he was not asking the question. He was just asking my opinion and try like making me guess. So I was not able to think the particular situation because I was not aware that young people helped the Kerala flood victims. But I was able to convey my point that okay, those who are having the good value system and the good uh, good family education or family tradition from the family and all, so and those who are having the respect for the elderly people will always help no matter what is the situation. So I convinced this point, and he was said okay. And the fourth the third member was a lady member, and he started with saying that, Amrish, you are from physics, I am also from physics. I said it's I did not say much. I said I nodded and I smiled a little bit. And she asked me about the physics aspect of AI. And he specifically mentioned that just tell me the physics aspect. And then while asking the question, she just asked the question that what is AI? First tell me that. So I said, ma'am, when machine is able to understand and learn and understand just like human and apply that understanding to help solve the problem. She said, okay, so tell me the physics aspect of the AI. So because she emphasized that physics aspect very specifically, I thought that there might be something very specific. So I said to her that, ma'am, can I think for a while? And I thought for 4 5 seconds, maybe seven, but I was not able to come up with the particular physics aspect of the AI. So I said, sorry, ma'am, I am not able to think. So she said, did you not heard about the quantum physics? I said, yes, ma'am, I have heard it and also studied it. So she said, what is that? So I told her about the concept of quantum physics and the superposition, quantum entanglement, and the quantum dots, and all those I told her about the quantum physics, and it is based on the probabilistic model. So, like I did not mention the probabilistic, I was just superposition and the interference. I mentioned those things. So she said that. So what is the difference between the normal computing and the quantum computers? So I said, ma'am, the normal computers consist the bits which are 0 and 1, and in the quantum computers the bits are quantum bits which can be either 0 or 1 at the same time, like which can be 0 or 1 at the same time. And in case of quantum computers, the process of the use of bit increases the process, uh, 2 raised to the power n bits, n q bits. Like for 2 bits there would be 2 raised to the power 2 process in the quantum bits. However, only 2 bits to process will be there in the normal. So there's a 2 raised to the power n number of process increases. And other aspect that I said that 0 and 1 can exist simultaneously. So I said, so she asked me, because of what? So what is the concept? I said, ma'am, because of the superposition. She said, okay, that is what I was looking for. So I said, thank you, ma'am, for reminding me. Then she asked me about the biotechnology and the linking it with the AI. So I said, ma'am, the with incorporation of AI in biotechnology, we will be able to process the data and develop new tools with the help of AI. I give the example. For example, recently concluded the Genome India project. With the use of AI, we will be identify the particular sequence related to particular disease, which which a human might not process as quickly as the AI can do, and AI can simultaneously process different aspects. So it will enhance our capacity to multifold, and we will be able to solve a lot of problems, such as the solution for the diseases such as the cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer. So I said a lot of diseases, we can find the cure and the solution for the diseases. A lot of diseases. She said which kind of diseases. So I said the cancer, Alzheimer, diabetes, and other genetic diseases. So she said okay, and then she was convinced in my that like we will be able to solve the problem. So then next member, then the fourth member started asking me about the question. So he said that okay, Amrish, you have studied biotechnology. So he was trying to ask some different question, but somehow dragged into asking the question of, so what is biotech? So I took a pause of maybe 1 second, and I said, sir, biotechnology is the incorporation of the knowledge of biosciences and the technology to solve the problems of the living entities like biosystems. So okay, so he said it is to solve the problems. He said how? I gave the example, sir. For example, device such as pacemaker, in which we understand the functioning of the heart and incorporate the knowledge of the electronics. So we incorporate the knowledge of biosciences and the electronics technology, and we combine those effects to create a device such as pacemaker. And similarly, the devices such as the biosensors of the blood glucose monitor, the pregnancy kits, and many more devices which we create by using the knowledge of bio biological systems and incorporating the technology into it. So he was convinced. So he said that what is the difference between the mutation and the aberration? So I said, sir, mutation is the uh, change in the DNA sequence of a particular organism, and it can be positive, negative. I said that, if I can remember. And for aberration, I said that, sir, I'm not very certain about the aberration because it looks similar. I just finished this line, and chairman said, okay, okay, finish it, and indicated towards the watch. And I said, thank you. And chairman sir said to me that, okay, Amrish, your interview is over. You can go now. So I thanked them all. I thanked the chairman sir and the lady member. Thank you, ma'am. And when I was going back, the old member again said thank you. So again I turned and said thank you, sir, and I came out of the room. I felt, just as I came out of the room, I felt that in my interview was, it's very quick, and I don't know others also feel like that or not. I said that I felt that, okay, it was very quick. Like, it happens in my like, I talked to many of those uh, fellow interview candidates. They also said that it looks very quick, like we go and we come out. So I felt that it was quick. However, a lot of questions were there, and in my opinion, there was no question, controversial question, very less question from the current affair or the newspaper or the international affair or the economy as per. So, because my profile is little bit not that current affair oriented, so I was expecting on those lines. However, when we prepare, we always prepare for the largest possibilities, like most of the cases which can happen. There is always a possibility of questions coming from the economic aspect, the political aspect, and the international affairs, current trends, newspaper. So my interview was almost 95% was from the deaf. Some areas were linked with the current affair and the deaf, which is the railways and all. So all in all, I would say my interview was very. If I would assess my interviews performance, that it was average, maybe slightly above average, because I was not nervous at all during the interview. I was talking confidently and politely, and I was firm as well. Whenever I was saying, putting some point, I was putting very confidently and saying no when I do not able to recall or remember. So this was my interview experience. Thank you all for watching. I will interact with you all on different topics, and I am going to start a series where I will talk about important aspect related to the Indian Forest Services interview and the topics related to that. So that is what I'm going to do in next few days, and in future I will also make some videos on important topics which is important for the UPSC Civil Services examination as a whole. So thank you very much, guys.